Alright, if you guys are at this point right now, then you've already kind of figured out where your construction lines are. You've darkened in everything. You've erased some of your receding lines that are going back to that vanishing point, and you're ready to move on to the second step that'll work with showing openings on different sides. We're going to focus in here first really quickly on this front side. I always call this side the front because it's, well, the front side. And just so that we can kind of keep things sure, keep things on the same page, I'll just write the word left side over here because, well, this is the left side. This is going to go away in a little bit, but just so that you guys can kind of keep the front side from the left side, I guess, separate. Now we still have working from the same vanishing point. What we're going to do here is we're going to put in an open door. Now this open door can take on a lot of different shapes and sizes. Again, I'm breaking one of my rules to make sure that this video doesn't drag on too much. But I'll have two vertical lines partnered up with a horizontal line at the top. This is a little too thick for my liking, so I'm just going to kind of thin that up with an eraser. But two vertical lines matching the same verticals that I have on the left and right side of the front, and then a horizontal line right here at the top of the door. Now it really doesn't look much like a door, and I want this area to be a walkway, so I want this to be open. Really all this looks like is a rectangle, so we have to look at this and kind of think about a couple different things that we would be able to see from this side. We know that there's a thickness to this whole wall right here, but we don't exactly know how thick that thickness actually is. To do that, we have to bring in and think about some different angles that would be drawn here with our straight edge. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to connect my straight edge right here to the bottom of the doorway. I know this is kind of hard to see, but let me actually just remove that. The bottom of the doorway is right here. I'm going to bring the straight edge down, make sure that it's touching my vanishing point, and I'm just going to draw a diagonal line that goes all the way back. Now a lot of this is going to be stuff that I erase, but I just want to be able to show you that this line, this diagonal line from that point, helps me kind of talk about how thick this actual whole wall right here, the front wall, actually is, by just drawing this diagonal line going back to the vanishing point right there. From here, we're just going to draw down a vertical line, and you guys can make your vertical line as far out as you want or as far in as you want. The thickness really doesn't matter, but this will help us kind of talk about exactly how thick this wall actually is. Now, I told you earlier that we were going to be getting rid of some of this stuff. I'm going to come in here with a little eraser because some of this stuff is some fine detail. And I can come in and start shading some of this so that you guys can see exactly how thick this actually is. Now, questions that I usually get asked by people is, well, how come you don't have to draw the left side of the door if you can see the left side of the building? And the reason for that is because where I'm standing, my perspective, I'm only seeing the front and the left side of this door. I can see the front, but because it's an open doorway, I can also see the thickness here. I know that the same thickness is over there as well on the top, but I can't see those, so I don't have to draw them. All right, let's move on to this side right here, this window. Again, if you feel like this video is moving too fast, you can go ahead and pause it at any time. We're going to talk about this window that we're going to put right here. That's going to mimic the same sort of ideas that we used here for the thickness of the door, basically just by drawing the same straight up and down lines that are going to show me where the stop on the right side and the stop on the left side actually are. So this will give me a good idea for where how far back my window is going and how close to me my window is going. Now you can probably see that I've got some guidelines here that I actually drew from the corner of the door. I'm going to put an X on that because that's also going to be the bottom of my window. And for the top portion, I'm just going to bring it right here. These are going to be the tops and the bottoms of both of my windows. Instead of using this thick mixing tray, I'm just going to come in with a post-it note so I can trace some lines back to my vanishing point. Now I can draw a diagonal line on top, and I can do the same thing on the bottom. I'm lining it up with that vanishing point over there. Oh, need a little bit bigger post-it note. And I can go ahead and erase some of these construction lines so that my drawing actually works out. Where did my eraser go? Oh, that's the one that I was holding right in my hand. Okay, there we have a nice little window. But again, just like the door, this really doesn't have a lot of detail in it. It's just like a rectangle slapped on the left-hand side. So what we've got to figure out is exactly how thick this window actually is. And zooming in, maybe repositioning the camera a little bit, what I'll do is I'll drop down a vertical line down here on the left-hand side. Okay. Now a lot of people here will start to argue, well, how come we drew it on the right-hand side for the door, but now we're drawing it on the left-hand side for the window? And I would again ask, well, which sides can you see? I mean, we can see this right side, but can we see around the corner right here? If we can't, we don't have to worry about drawing it. I'm going to drop this vertical line down because that's the same step that we did over here for the wall. Okay, I'm going to shade that. Now, whoop, let me get rid of this arrow here so that nobody gets confused. Now what I want to do is I want to work on thinking about this bottom ledge. Now, a lot of people ask, well, why do you have to draw the bottom ledge? Well, we have to draw the bottom ledge because we can see on top of it. We can see here because this bottom is so far down. Well, how come we didn't do that for the doorway? Well, the doorway ends right there, so we don't have to really worry about that. Now, fortunately with my camera, I can't zoom in too much, but there is a horizontal line that gets made right here at the bottom. That horizontal line is made from where these two angles meet up, right? So this horizontal line is not going to go all the way out. It's actually just going to stop to wherever I drew my vertical line. And then this line right there is going to be a nice little diagonal. Oh, put my straight edge post-it note right here. That gets drawn right across. I can go ahead and shade some of this in. And now I have a nice little windowway, or window. I don't exactly know what a windowway is, but we have a window that has a ledge and a thickness to it. Okay? Now, for the third part of this video, I want you guys to make sure you pause this, make sure you have everything depicted that's in this image, make sure that you're comparing it with your partner's work. But for the next video, what we'll work on is a sidewalk that spans the whole length of this image.